You mentioned in the interview that the Wall Street Journal at some point in the past had very significant competitive advantages, but a number of them were largely unrealized. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on that.
Well, Dow Jones, which owned the Wall Street Journal, in the 60s and 70s, going into the era of the enormous spread of financial information and value of financial information, they owned the field. They had the news ticker, and they had the journal, which anybody interested in finance in the country identified with, and they, starting with that in what would be an incredible growth industry, finance, for the next 30 or 40 years, I forget a couple of those ventures they went into, and they bought a chain of small newspapers. I remember one time, and they just totally missed what was going to happen. Here comes Michael Bloomberg and takes away financial information. I mean, they had such an advantage, and they didn't really see various areas that they could have pursued, which could have turned that company into something worth many hundreds of billions of dollars in all probability. And they had a situation where a family owned it, and a lawyer essentially controlled the family's behavior, and they were sitting pretty. They were all getting dividends, but there was nobody there with any imagination as to what could be done in the financial field. So starting with this position, they were a trusted name. They were in every brokerage firm in the country with the news ticker. I mean, I went to Walter Annenberg's house one time, and he had the Dow Jones ticker there. Or the news ticker, and it was. They couldn't have been in a better place. They couldn't have started with a stronger position. They had a very good balance sheet, and they just let the world pass them by. Now Rupert is changing it into a different newspaper. He's basically going into competition with has gone into competition with the New York Times. But that's the game he likes, and it makes for a very interesting competitive situation. Charlie?
Well, they did end up with $6 or $7 billion. So they may have blown their opportunities, but they didn't destroy their fortune.
If you'd had the hand, if Tom Murphy had the hand,
oh yeah,
it would have been in the hundreds of billions, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if we had that hand. We would.
Well, I'm not so sure about it. I'm talking about Murph. There were a lot of opportunities there.
Well, I think even Murph is more like us than he is like Bill Gates.
No. I'm not sure where that goes, but
I think it's hard to invent
he's more
entirely new modalities and so on.
I think Bill would have done very well with Dow Jones too.
Yes, he might have done better than anyone.
Yeah, I'd like to buy into that retroactively. Yeah. Okay, 3:30's arrived. We're going to go to the annual meeting in about 5 minutes. We've got a certain amount of formal business to take care of, and I thank you all for coming.